Appreciate your thoughts and reportage on the issue. Looking forward also to the outcome of the meeting between President Barack Obama and the National Security Team today. So now to Nigeria, where 2 new confirmed cases of Ebola have been recorded in Port Harcourt at the River State capital. According to the Minister of Health, Professor Onyebụchi, the Port Harcourt case includes the late Dr. Ike Enemoa, whose status was unknown until after his death. His wife has also taken ill and has now been quarantined. The late Dr. Enemoa secretly treated the ECOWAS staff, a primary contact of Mr. Patrick Sawyer, who evaded surveillance and fled to Port Harcourt.
Virus status has risen from 13 reported earlier this week to 15. The Minister of Health, Professor Onyebụchi, told a news conference in Abuja that 2 new cases have been confirmed in Port Harcourt. According to him, an ECOWAS staff who had primary contact with the Liberian American, Mr. Patrick Sawyer, evaded surveillance and traveled to the city.
You'll recall that the last time we had this interactive session, we told you the number was 13, so we have moved from 13 to 15. You also have noticed that these additional 2 were not treated in the isolation ward in Lagos. One of them is a primary contact of the index case. This primary contact of Mr. Sawyer's had evaded our surveillance team in the last week of July 2014 and traveled out of Lagos to Port Harcourt.
This ECOWAS staff, who is currently not having symptoms of the virus, is the second recorded case of the disease in the city. He has, however, been placed under strict surveillance in Lagos. Meanwhile, the widow of the doctor that secretly treated him is currently being quarantined after developing symptoms of Ebola.
Because the widow is now symptomatic, she has, since yesterday, been quarantined, pending the outcome of laboratory tests being carried out today on her.
Government has urged the public not to panic while pledging for cooperation with health instructions to help reduce the spread.
What does it take for us to just respect a simple rule? You are under observation because you may have a primary or secondary contact, or even a tertiary contact. Why? What is wrong if you simply, for that period, obey the rule? Because we can only defeat this disease with citizens' cooperation.
So far, 15 cases of Ebola have been recorded, including the index case, Mr. Patrick Sawyer. 14 cases have been managed, with 7 discharged from the hospital, 6 deaths and 1 current case being treated in Lagos. 6 under surveillance in Enugu, 70 in Port Harcourt, and 141 in Lagos.
Well, thousands of people recently converged on Osun Forest outside Osogbo City in western Nigeria for the yearly Peace and Fertility Festival. The event has become one of Nigeria's most popular tourist attractions, with thousands of overseas visitors coming to experience the carnival atmosphere. But the turnout was rather low this year, based on fears of the Ebola virus.
The festival celebrates the river goddess Osogbo, who is said to have rescued people faced with hunger, poverty, and infertility hundreds of years ago. Legend has it, in ancient times, the people of Osogbo were healed by Osogbo, who would rise out of the water to answer their prayers and leave them with lasting peace and happiness, as well as lots of offspring. But unlike previous events, this year's festival had a low turnout of tourists following the recent breakout of Ebola in West Africa.
We are here to conduct crowd management as a way of stopping the scourge of Ebola virus disease. We are here to make sure that people who are very sick don't get to the groove, so that they will not pollute the system to the extent that the Ebola virus may then spread to people.
The hemorrhagic fever has killed at least 1,427 people, mostly in Sierra Leone, Liberia, and neighboring Guinea, the deadliest outbreak of the disease to date. Authorities in Osun remain on high alert and set up a medical center to conduct Ebola screening on all festival goers.
When we were coming in, we actually were tested, and I have the impression that there is no Ebola in Osun State. And anyway, people have been praying that this particular area should, assist them so that they won't be infected by Ebola virus.
Draped in elaborately decorated clothes, festival goers shout and dance to the sound of drums as they walk down to the river where worshippers pour water on each other and pray for peace. But despite fears of the virus, spirits remained high amongst festival goers.
I don't know, I think whenever there is a disease which is dangerous as Ebola, people are afraid. But I have been reading newspaper for last weeks, and I think, as far as I can judge, it's more or less under control, I think.
The event also attracts hundreds of local artists and craftsmen and women who set up temporary stores at the festival, selling everything from handmade decorations to musical instruments and traditional Nigerian clothes. But it was not just small-scale traders feeling the pinch. Local hotels also suffered from low turnouts.
Because of the virus this year, we've actually experienced low turnover, but we hope that things will pick up next year. But next year, I hope they will find the vaccine for the virus and we will not experience this again. Because the revenue is so low now that we're having like 20% occupancy on like the 100% occupancy. As at last year, we still look around to search for accommodation for people. But we are begging people to come around now.
Many are hopeful that next year's festival will see a return of the event to its former glory, attracting visitors from across the world.
Well, a high level of personal hygiene is still the key to curbing the Ebola virus disease. And that's the world today. Thank you for watching. Coming up soon is sports news. Please stay tuned.